Unmatched is famous for having an extensive roster of playable characters, but with so many matchups available, it is extremely difficult to play them all. In this series, we will be analyzing a variety of matchups in detail and hopefully discover some hidden gems. Join me as we explore the latest matchup of the month. If you're a fan of the channel, consider supporting me on Patreon. For as little as $1 per month, you can help me continue to bring you premier Unmatched content. Unlock exclusive rewards by becoming a patron today.
What's up guys, Zero Skater here, and we are back for another matchup of the month for June, this time featuring Moon Knight versus Titania. So we're going to see who is the ultimate warrior of the moon, I guess, is the theme here. My bet is on Moon Knight, but we're going to have to wait and see. It'll be cool because if you guys missed last episode, we did Little Red versus the Wayward Sisters, and that was full of a lot of tricks, so that was a cool matchup. It was fun to just go crazy on that one, and we got to reveal and play on one of the new Witcher maps, being Naglfar. So if you missed that episode, be sure to go check it out. But for this one, we are getting in another one of the newer Slings and Arrows fighters into these episodes. So I always love to bring in the new fighters as they come out, so it'll be cool to see what Titania can do up against one of the powerhouses of the past with Moon Knight, and especially when it's Chad's Moon Knight, it's a whole nother story. So that'll be fun to try out. I can't wait to get into it. But as always, guys, be sure to attack that like button if you enjoy the video and subscribe for more Unmatched content. And with that said, let's not wait any longer. We will get into matchup of the month for June with Moon Knight versus Titania.
Alright, so here we are on Vorpal board, as always, to check out one of our two fighters being Titania. Now, Moon Knight has already been covered pretty in-depth in one of the past episodes, so if you want to see the detailed breakdown of Moon Knight, go check out the matchup of the month for, I believe it was October 2022, with Moon Knight versus Alice. So that episode was amazing. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. But if you just want a refresher on Moon Knight and how him and his deck work, go check out the detailed breakdown in that episode. And then come back to this one, because we're just going to go over Titania here, being one of the newer fighters from the Slings and Arrows set. So Titania is a ranged fighter, 12 HP, move 2, with a sidekick Oberon, who is melee, and 6 HP. The ability is Fairy Magic, so if you do not have a face-up Glamour at the start of your turn, flip the top card of your Glamour deck face up. Its effect is ongoing while it remains face up. So the Glamour deck is a separate little deck of 6 mini cards with different effects on them, and so if you are in the first turn of the game, you won't have any Glamours active, but once you start your first turn, then of course you're going to flip the top card of your Glamour deck over and you will have that active effect. So it's kind of a variable ability, similar to Moon Knight once again, who changes forms to switch to different abilities. So what are the Glamours? Well, we're going to go over them here. There are 6 different ones. First of all, we're going to have the Glamour of Invisibility. This is probably one of the worst ones, if not the worst, in my opinion. It says your fighters may move through opposing fighters. So it basically gives you the Buffy the Vampire Slayer ability from the Buffy set. And while it is interesting, I just don't think it's very useful in a deck like this, because you're ranged for one, so like shooting over the top of sidekicks isn't really a big deal as much as melee fighters who have to get through sidekicks. You're not necessarily a fighter that people want to pin for reasons we'll go over in a little bit, because you have some crazy combo potential. And I don't know, it just doesn't, it's an okay ability, but it's not one that is really going to win you a game. So let's move on. We're going to see the Glamour of Greed. I also think this one is a little bit mediocre. It just says at the end of your turn you may draw 1 card. Now it is very similar to Bigfoot's ability, but Bigfoot has the values to be very aggressive and use that card draw to really put the pressure on you and beat you down. Whereas this deck is more of like a slow grind kind of deck. It doesn't have just flat big values like Bigfoot has. So I don't find this ability to be as helpful either. because you don't have natural action gain. You need the help of your glamour for action gain for your big combo turns. So this doesn't really help you out because those extra cards don't get to be easily utilized. As long as this ability is face up, you're not getting the combo ability. So again, Greed, it's like okay, but it's probably one of the ones you want to cycle through pretty often. Next up, we'll see Jealousy. So when Titania or Oberon are attacked, before playing a card, they may swap spaces, and if you do, the other fighter is now the defender. So this is a really interesting one because it lets you protect the fighter that you need to protect and put the other one in as the defender. So every card gets the Under Achilles' Helm ability, essentially. And that is just really cool. I find this one to be very useful in the early game when you're kind of drawing through your deck, assembling your pieces, and loading up your glamour discard pile. Because as we're going to see in a little bit, you're going to want to do that so that you get to power up some of your cool effects and set up your end game. So Jealousy is pretty sweet. It's not one, again, that's going to win you the game, but it can help out in a pinch. Next up, we're going to see Glamour of Love. Whenever you maneuver, you may move an opposing fighter one space before moving one of your fighters. This one is interesting. It can be very aggressive or defensive based on what you're going for and what your hand looks like while this glamour is up. Because if you want to be defensive, you can push your opponent away and then move back. And so you're putting extra space between you and the opponent. So that could help out maybe in fatigue, or if you're trying to kite your opponent, like if you make a first action attack from ranged, maybe there's already a space or two gap in between you and the opponent. You attack them from range, first action. Second action, you maneuver, so you push them one space away. You move two spaces away. Now even a move 3 fighter would have to maneuver and boost if they're melee in order to attack you on the next turn. So it could be very good for defensive kiting in that regard, or in the end game fatigue, forcing your opponent to take more maneuvers than they might want to. Because if you double maneuver, you can put 6 spaces of gap between you and the opponent. Even if they had center stage, you can push them off of center while you move away. So you can kind of turn any map into Yukon at that point, because they probably can't reach you even with a boost, if they're melee at least. And that forces a double maneuver turn from your opponent. So that is really good in the end game. But it can also help for being aggressive, because if they are running from you, well, you can move them one space into a different zone. Just take your 2 spaces of movement into that zone and attack them from range with Titania. So pretty good for chasing as well. This is one of the better glamours in the deck in all cases, in my opinion. Um, Here is the next one, Glamour of Rhyme. This is the combo one that I mentioned. So after you play a scheme, you gain an action. And while that may seem very simple and not the best, because you only action gain with schemes, your schemes can chain into some crazy powerful turns. So we'll get into this a little bit more when we go through the cards, but Glamour of Rhyme is definitely one of the best ones in the deck, and it is a win condition, because if you can pull off a crazy good combo turn and then smack them for huge damage, that can win you the game. So this is going to be one of them that you probably don't want to see early, because you're going to want to draw through your deck and build up your combo pieces, and then find this one later on when you're able to execute that combo. And there are some ways you can set that up in the late game, which we will go over. But definitely one of the best glamours in the deck. And then, in my opinion, probably the best, number one best glamour of the deck is Glamour of Sleep. Your fighters do not take damage other than combat damage. So we have seen this before with Khonshu from Moon Knight. So this is incredibly strong, because not only does it avoid auto damage from card effects like Little Red has plenty of auto damage with Never Leave the Path, the scheme, or Once Upon a Time, her combat card. And there's just plenty of auto damage in Unmatched that can all be avoided with Glamour of Sleep. You can avoid Medusa's ability, the pings at the start of the turn. That's just incredibly strong. But not only do you get to avoid auto damage, but you get to avoid fatigue damage or exhaustion damage at the end of the game when your deck is empty. You could maneuver infinitely many times and never die, because you will not take fatigue damage. And Khonshu doesn't take fatigue damage, so that's kind of a cheat code, as we've seen before. But his is only while he's Khonshu, and then he gets off of Khonshu, he's going to be forced to switch forms and then start taking fatigue damage. But Titania with Glamour of Sleep can go infinite in fatigue. So if you can make it to that endgame scenario, it is very, very good and definitely could be a win condition. But again, the nature of Titania and the Glamour deck, you don't know the order. You can modify it a little bit, as we'll see, but I don't think you can ever play towards one specific win condition from the get-go. I think the order of the glamours are going to kind of dictate how you need to play, as well, in combination with what your hand looks like while that particular glamour is face up. And you're going to have to be flexible with Titania. But just keep in mind these other win conditions because they definitely can come up and you can try to force them in certain scenarios. So Glamour of Sleep, one of the win condition glamours, probably best glamour in the deck, just base level, and because avoiding auto damage is just really strong. So that is the glamour deck for you. 6 different glamours. You will cycle through them, as we will see with card effects, because card effects cause you to discard glamours, and then if you don't have one face up, you will get a new one at the start of your turn, and that's how you cycle through them, as we will see. So very cool ability. It's basically, like I mentioned with Moon Knight, variable abilities, and with Titania, there's a little bit of randomness involved because you don't know the ordering that they're going to show up, but very cool. Now let's get into the deck. So first card being Queen of Fairies. It's a basic flat 2 attack. During combat, increase the value of this card by +1 for each glamour in your glamour discard pile. So as I mentioned, you're going to want to cycle through them, get them into the discard pile so that you can power up Queen of the Fairies, which is definitely one of your biggest hitting cards. It's one of the win conditions of the deck because it can go up to an 8 value attack in the end game. So if you save these for late game, it's kind of like Sinbad, where your opponent probably wants to save their feints until the late game so that they can cancel the Queen of the Fairies, because you wouldn't want to play this earlier, at least not too early, because it's not very strong at that point, right? This hitting for like a 5 is kind of whatever. You really want to save this to be hitting for, 6 plus. So that means your opponent probably wants to save their feints in the early game, which maybe you can, use that to your advantage if you have a feeling they're going to play that way. But Queen of the Fairies, definitely a win condition card. Very, very strong. Next up, we're going to see But a Dream. It's a really unique defense card because it is a printed 0, but immediately you cancel all effects on your opponent's card, ignore its value, and return it to your opponent's hand. So you essentially just blank that entire combat no matter what the opponent attacked with. You're just going to ignore it, put it back to their hand, and say, nope, that was just a dream. It didn't happen. And then after combat, you draw a card. So the card draw can be good or bad depending on the situation. If you're trying to pressure, then the card draw, of course, is good. If you're trying to build up a combo hand, then the card draw can be good, but it can also hurt you by pushing you towards fatigue faster. So just keep that in mind. But you might have the Glamour of Sleep ready for that end game where you don't care about going to fatigue. So yeah, just take that as you will. Next card is going to be The Moon Looks Down, and this is the card that really lets you reliably play towards a certain win condition in the end game, because after combat you put a discarded glamour on the bottom of your glamour deck. Now there's only 2 copies of this in the deck, so they can get canceled, and if they get canceled, then if both copies get canceled, you have no more ways to cycle back glamours, because this is the only card that will bring them back into the glamour deck. So it's a very important card. You do not want to get both of these canceled. Getting one canceled is probably fine because you're probably just looking to put the one particular glamour that is your win condition on the bottom so that once you get to the end game and you've either reached fatigue, you have Glamour of Sleep ready to go infinite and win that way, or you have Glamour of Rhyme at the bottom so that you have time to draw through your deck, find all your combo pieces, and then pull off the big combo at the end. So this is definitely an important card in the deck. It's not like crazy powerful, but it just gives you a little bit more consistency to be able to play towards a certain win condition that you want to go for in the end game, rather than completely relying on randomness in the glamour deck order. So pretty key card here. Next up, one of the weakest cards in the deck, but we're going to start looking at the cards that actually let you cycle your glamours here. So this one is a blank 2. I say blank. It's not blank, but it's just a 2 value versatile. It says after combat you draw a card. That's always going to happen unless it's canceled. But you may discard your glamour to draw 2 instead. So it's kind of like the regroup of the deck, but a little easier to get the 2 card draw because you just have to discard a glamour, and this will help you cycle your glamours to get through your glamour deck faster, find the ones that are really helpful to you in the moment, and give you extra card draw to keep up the pressure on your opponent or make sure you have good defenses. So it's like definitely a better regroup because regroup is kind of a throwaway, whereas this is a little bit of glue that holds the deck together with consistency, letting you cycle and get card draw. But it just being a printed 2 means you don't want to probably defend with this or else you're taking damage. And if you attack with it, it's kind of an opportunity cost where you could have been attacking with something better, but instead you're just attacking with a 2. And then if you use it to cycle the glamour as an attack, that means you have no glamour up for defense, which means your defense cards are much weaker as we're about to see. So it leaves you very vulnerable on the opponent's turn. So either way you use this card, it's kind of mediocre and a costly way to cycle your glamours. We're going to see much better ones coming up. So let's move on, and we'll see one of the best cards in the deck, Fairy Song. This is your momentous shift. It's a 3-value versatile, but during combat you may discard your glamour, and if you do, the value of this is 5 instead. So 5-value attacks and defenses are both very strong. It's during combat, so it's optional. You know, if you played on defense and they only attacked with a 3, you don't have to cycle your glamour if you don't want to. But if you're looking to cycle, you can. So this is just a really reliable and powerful way to cycle through your glamours, whether you attack or defend with the card. I think most often you're going to defend with it because a 5-value defense is incredible. It also lets you, just in general, cycling on defense is better because you discard your glamour, you defended, now it's probably the end of the opponent's turn, you go into your turn and you immediately flip a new glamour, and that's readily available to you, so you're not very vulnerable in that regard. So Fairy Song is awesome, as well as Whisked Away. This is the skirmish of the deck. It's a 4-value versatile, and after combat, you move your fighter up to 2 spaces. That is non-conditional, so that's really, really good for combo breaking. But you may also discard your glamour, and if you do, you place your fighter in any space. So rather than just moving 2 spaces, you can warp to any space you would like. And both this and the Fairy Song were any's, whereas the cards previous to that were Titania specific, but Oberon, your sidekick, can use both Fairy Song and Whisked Away, so that makes him quite a tanky sidekick because these are excellent premium quality defense cards here. This one is just incredible for combo breaking, and you can use it as a chase card as well if you want to attack with it, because in the late game, like I said, they're going to be wanting to feint your Queen of the Fairies. If you still have a copy of this to attack with, that's really good because if they feint, then you wasted their feint. You still hit for 2 damage over the top because it's a printed 4, which is the highest printed value in your deck, at least for defense and offense for Titania. So this card is just excellent, and it can help set up a combo in the late game as well because you could, let's say you're on your last glamour face up, you get an opportunity to attack them first action with Whisked Away. They play a combo breaker because they're afraid of like maybe a double Queen of the Fairies turn or something like that. So they play a combo breaker to get away, but you discard your last glamour. Now, not only do you get to follow them and warp adjacent or warp in the zone to make a follow-up attack, but you've also discarded that glamour, powering up Queen of the Fairies so that you can do the big 1-2 punch there. So this card is just very versatile and very strong no matter how you use it, as well as Fairy Song. So these 2 cards are definitely the best ways to cycle glamours and some of the most powerful cards in the deck. Next up, we're going to see a blue any. This is basically your feint. It's Protection of the Fairy Woods. Immediately, you may discard your glamour, and if you do, cancel all effects on your opponent's card. So it's only a defensive feint. You can't use it on offense because it's not a versatile. But it is an any, so both Titania and Oberon can use it, and it does require you to cycle your glamour in order to get the cancel, but that's usually fine. This is a good card to have in the deck as you always want to have access to a cancel. But just keep in mind that if you are getting double attacked and let's say your first defense was a Fairy Song and you discard your glamour to make it a 5 so you didn't take damage from like, I don't know, some big value attack, and then they attack you with something that you'd want to cancel, you no longer have that glamour available to trigger your cancel. So you can only play one of these defensive cycle cards per turn, right? Because if you get double attacked, you can only discard the glamour once. You don't get it back up till your next turn. So just something to keep in mind when you're planning out your defense turns. But this card is really good to have and a great way to cycle once again. And those are the only cycle cards. So there are 12 ways to cycle through glamours in your deck. There are 6 glamours to get through. So even if some get canceled, you usually have more than enough to cycle. But again, 3 out of the 12, so 25% are this donkey card, and that's not that great of a card. So you have 9 really good ways to cycle. So that should be enough. Typically it is, but just be conscious of your number of cycles because sometimes you can run out and that could ruin your whole game. So be mindful. Next up, we're going to see Parting Gift. This is a great card. It's just after combat, you may deal 2 damage to each fighter in the combat, and it's a versatile 2. It's an any, so Oberon can use it as well. So let's say Oberon, you know he's about to go down because they're going to want to finish him off. You don't have any great defenses, but you have Parting Gift, so you can be like, okay, Oberon's going to go, but I'm going to defend with this on his way out so he can deal 2 combat damage, or I mean 2 auto damage rather, to the opponent on his way out because dealing 2 to Oberon himself didn't matter. He was going to die anyways in combat. So this is a great defense in that case. It's also great as an attack or defense whenever you have a Glamour of Sleep because you don't take auto damage. So similar to how Moon Knight uses his auto damage card when he's Khonshu, you can use Parting Gift in the same way. And so this could be with 2 copies in the deck, up to 4 auto damage pretty reliably as long as it's not canceled. So this is a great card here. And then we're going to see one of the best cards in the deck met by Moonlight. So it's Oberon specific, but it is a 5 value attack, very strong printed value, so great to hit over feints, although the opponent is probably never feinting Oberon. They are always going to be feinting Titania because she has all the crazy effects that you want to cancel. You don't want to be throwing a feint into this card, but if it's your only defense, maybe you throw the feint just to save the 2 health. So, yeah, I don't know. But this card is incredibly strong, and after combat, you get to place Oberon in a space adjacent to Titania. So no matter what, you get to warp away to safety after you attack, so you're not just a sitting duck. Or, if the opponent wants to stop you from warping away, they probably are feinting it, and they are just taking the 3 damage anyways. So it's a win-win situation with this card. It's amazing. There's 3 copies in the deck, so definitely a reason to keep Oberon alive for a while until you can pull off at least a couple of these attacks. Now we're going to get into the last of the deck is a few schemes here. So Gift of the Fair Folk, this is an any. You choose 2 effects. I love these types of cards when you get to choose 2. I think it's awesome. But your options are 1 fighter recovers 2 health. And keep in mind that is any fighter. That can be Titania, that can be Oberon, that can even be the opponent if maybe you're up against Annie Christmas or something and you need to make it so she doesn't have her ability online. That'd be a really neat way to do that. But healing 2 is fantastic on a scheme, as we know. And then you could draw 2 cards if you're looking to keep up the pressure or you really need to find defenses. Or you can move 2 fighters up to 2 spaces each. So it's like a mini Command the Storms, as we've seen from Merlin in Arthur's deck. But you can move your fighters or your opponent's fighters. It doesn't matter. You just pick 2 fighters, move them up to 2 spaces each. So that's really good. This card is fantastic healing. It's a really good pass if you want to do the heal and move because you can push your opponent away and have your person move away, so you create a big gap in between you and your opponent and heal 2 at the same time. That's just a fantastic way to have a pass if you're playing towards fatigue. But it can be good for aggressive play as well if you want to pull your opponent in and draw the 2 cards. Because keep in mind, this is a scheme, so if you have Glamour of Rhyme up, you gain an action after you play the scheme. So typically, if you move your opponent in and you draw 2, like that's not much better than just a simple maneuver if you could reach the opponent anyways, because then you're spending a card to draw 2 cards. That's a net of 1 card, which you'd net 1 card if you maneuvered, right? But if you have Glamour of Rhyme up and you get the action gain, well, maybe now you're cooking up some big combo there. So all 3 options can be very good. It's a very strong card, and to have 3 copies of this in the deck is awesome. And then we're going to see a new common card, Momentary Glance. We've seen this from Medusa, and it's an incredibly powerful scheme. It is a pass. You just deal 2 damage to any fighter in Titania's zone. So that is really, really good. It's a 4 boost value as well, so if you absolutely need the boost value, it's there. You could move 6 spaces, but you are ranged, so probably boosting for less is typically sufficient. But hey, 4 boost is kind of cool to see. But this card is just amazing, especially, again, if you have Rhyme up. They could be feeling good, they could have 8 health, maybe even 10 health, and then you're just like, okay, I'm going to maneuver into your zone, or maybe you came to attack me and that was a mistake. I'm going to glance you, I'm going to gain an action, I'm going to glance you again, I'm going to gain an action. That's 4 auto damage you just dealt to them. And then maybe you're going to play this next and final card in the deck being What Fools These Mortals Be. It's an Oberon specific scheme, but you get to choose an opponent, look at their hand, and choose a card, and they shuffle that card into the deck. So it's basically an Eliminate the Impossible from Sherlock's deck, except it gets shuffled into the deck instead of discarded, which, granted, is much worse because the opponent doesn't permanently lose the resource. They will get it back. You're also loading up the opponent's deck to help them out in fatigue. So it's definitely worse than Eliminate the Impossible, but if you're pulling off a big combo turn with Glamour of Rhyme, gaining an action after you play this, so ripping out their best defense card and then still gaining an action and being able to attack them for a combo turn is just crazy powerful. And typically, this card is, it just feels so good. It's almost like a, what is that card? Mesmerize or whatever from Electra's deck that gets to rip out a card and gain an action. This is basically that if you have Rhyme, and that's the combo you're building up towards. So let's go back to our example, right? You have Rhyme up, you double glance them, that's 4 auto damage. You What Fools on them, and you rip out maybe 1 or 2 of their best defenses, like maybe their feints or highest value blocks. And then you smack them with, a Met by Moonlight and a Queen of the Fairies. And if Queen of the Fairies is built up to, let's say, even a 6, and you rip out their best defenses, so you got rid of their feint and you got rid of their max value block, like a skirmish. So maybe they only have 3s in their hand to defend with. You hit them with Met by Moonlight, that's 2 damage over the 3. And then you hit them with a 6 value Queen of the Fairies, which isn't even the biggest this can get, and that is 3 damage over the 3. And if you add that up, this is 2, 4, 6, 9 damage in a single turn. They could have been sitting at 9 and been like, oh, I'm fine. I got plenty of HP. I got good defenses. I'm set. So they go in, they attack you, and maybe you defend with like the donkey or something. So you draw cards and you draw into maybe 1 or 2 of these extra pieces. And then you just combo off on them, and all of a sudden they're dead. And that's just insane, right? So definitely Glamour of Rhyme with these schemes is incredibly powerful. You can chain together some ridiculous combo turns. And even though you're never going to gain actions from attacking, so you're only ever going to get 2 attacks, being able to pop them for auto damage, rip out their best defenses, and then hit with massive attacks that now they can't really defend well against is just crazy strong. So you don't need action gain on the attacks when you have so much damage and hand disruption combo potential, because of Rhyme, and bursting that all in the same turn is crazy. So that is the deck right there. And all the glamours. And I know this has been a very long explanation, but Titania is a very complex character, and we kind of had 2 decks to get through in a sense. So yeah, sorry for it being so long, but hopefully that gives you some insight into Titania and what she can do. And as you can see, she's very versatile, and you're really going to have to just play with what you're given in that particular game. But there are plenty of different avenues you can kind of lean towards based on what you see. So really cool fighter. Again, if you want to see the Moon Knight breakdown, go check out the other episode of Matchup of the Month from October 2022 with Moon Knight versus Alice. You can see the detailed Moon Knight breakdown, but let's go ahead and talk about a few of the key interactions we should expect to be seeing in this matchup. All right, so one of the most important cards and most impactful potentially in this matchup is That's the Part I Like from Moon Knight. So this card lets you look at the opponent's deck and discard one of the top 3 cards and then put the rest back in any order. But if this happens to hit a Queen of the Fairies, I think so much of Titania's power budget is specifically in that card alone. So much of her damage is going to come from Queen of the Fairies that if one of them gets discarded from That's the Part I Like, I think it's basically just game over. And although there is randomness involved because Queen of the Fairies would have to be within the top 3 cards when this card triggers, it could just break the whole game there. So you do have to win combat with That's the Part I Like. So that is where Fairy Song comes in, right? Because this card being only a 3 value defense, it's not easy to win with a 3 value defense. So it's probably not being played on defense. It's probably only be playing being played on offense, and threes on offense also don't win, but it's going to be attacking with Khonshu, right? So you get the +2. So this would be a 5-value attack trying to win the combat over Titania's defense, but Fairy Song being a 5-value defense can stop that, whether it be Oberon or Titania. So I fully expect to see this interaction happen. You're going to want to defend Khonshu with Fairy Song so that you have the option of stopping. That's the part I like. And if you can stop it, you're feeling really good as Titania. Moon Knight is going to have to find ways around that, maybe by defending with that's the part I like when you're Mr. Knight, so it's a 4-value defense, but even that is not reliable because Titania being, they know that that's an option. They're not going to just attack into this willy-nilly, right? They're going to hit with something like Oberon, who's a 5, or something that would beat over it. So, with that being said, though, there's a bit of a mind game because although Titania knows that Khonshu wants to attack with this, can defend with Fairy Song to block it, then Khonshu could then instead attack with Totally Sane Thing to Do as Khonshu, and that is a really good attack because if Fairy Song doesn't want to cycle the Glamour, it's only a 3, and this would be a printed 4 essentially, and also deal 2 auto damage as long as the Glamour of Sleep is not up. So this would deal 3 damage overall over the top of Fairy Song. And if Fairy Song wants to cycle, you're only saving yourself 1 damage. So you're using a 5-value defense on a simple 4. And you're still taking 2 damage from the auto damage. And then you're being forced to cycle your Glamour, which you may or may not want to do in the situation. So Khonshu is going to want to attack, but that's the part I like. Fairy Song is going to want to block that, and in response, Totally Sane Thing to Do would be a perfect attack into the Fairy Song. So some combination of these interactions I'm sure we will see, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not that's the part I like can actually trigger in the matchup, and if it does, will we see it hit a Queen of the Fairies and absolutely just destroy Titania? We're going to have to wait and see. All right, so next up is kind of a little scenario that I'm imagining. So let's say Khonshu goes and takes center stage as he normally does, and then it's Titania's turn. Well, Oberon can go up and attack with Met by Moonlight because you can assume that Khonshu probably wants to play Totally Sane Thing to Do on defense to get the auto damage, and it's a low printed value. So usually you don't want to attack into Khonshu because you don't want to end next to him, because you don't want to get double attacked with that +2. But Met by Moonlight can let you get away after combat. And so attacking Khonshu is really good with this card actually because you can deal 3 damage over Totally Sane Thing to Do, only take 2 damage back, and then warp behind Titania to safety. That's really good. The only other way to stop this, as I mentioned before, would be to feint. And if Khonshu feints, well, Oberon doesn't take any damage back from Totally Sane because you just hit over the feint. You don't get away, but you still deal the 3 damage to Khonshu. So you can pretty reliably deal a big chunk of damage to Khonshu by attacking with Met by Moonlight. Now let's say that if you hit the Totally Sane, you take a little bit of damage, you get away, cool, that's the end of the story. But if you get feinted and you deal your 3, but now you're stuck adjacent to Khonshu, well, you probably want to defend with Whisked Away on the first attack because A, it's a max value block of 4, that's really good, and then you get away from the double attack from Khonshu by warping away. So if Khonshu suspects that, they can first action attack with Fist of Khonshu, which says after combat, if you won, you move the opposing fighter up to 4 spaces. So Oberon defends with Whisked Away, takes 1 damage in combat, but gets to warp away because of the after combat of this, and now no longer has any Glamour face up because you spent it warping away. Now, if Khonshu was in center stage, which he probably was, as we talked about, then a lot of maps are only move 4 maps, which means you can move 4 spaces from center and reach any space or any fighter on the board, barring, body blocking. So if that's the case and you're on a move 4 map and Khonshu's in center, well, Fist of Khonshu moving the opposing fighter up to 4 spaces means that no matter where Oberon warps to, he can be the farthest point away. you're going to move him 4 spaces, can move him through Titania. If Titania's in the way, that's irrelevant because you're moving the opposing fighter. So you move Oberon right back adjacent to Khonshu again for a follow-up attack, and now there are no good defenses because you don't have any glamours face up. So the best thing you could do is a second copy of Whisked Away as just a max value block. Which, if you have that, you're feeling pretty good as Oberon because you only took 1 damage in the first combat, and you might take 2 or 3 in the second combat. And walking away with only 3 or 4 damage overall from a double Khonshu attack turn is pretty good. You know, that's kind of the best you're going to get. Um, so but it's still really good though for Khonshu because hitting with the fist means you essentially negate the first whisked away, and if they don't have a second copy, you can then make your follow-up attack with something really big, and they may not defend at all. They might just play a 2 value blank or a 3 value blank, and you can really capitalize. So I know this is like a lot of little convoluted scenario here, but I could definitely see this happening because Khonshu always wants to end in center stage to set up to be able to reach the opponent no matter where they run to. With that said, Met by Moonlight attacking into Khonshu is one of the best things because you don't want to attack into Mr. Knight with it since they get the +1 defense, so you're kind of wasting some of your value here. Obviously, attacking Moon Knight with it is the best, but you might just not, have that great opportunity to do so. So if you attack into Khonshu, it's not the worst, so you can capitalize there. Khonshu wants to defend with a feint to stop you, then you can whisk away. And then if they attacked with the fist, well, then it kind of negated your whisked away. So there's layers upon layers of mind games here in this scenario, and I just think it's really interesting. So we may see any combination of these scenarios happening. But yeah, that's a really interesting sequence that I wanted to bring up. All right, this next one is going to be the last specific interaction really that I have, and it's not even a specific card interaction, but I just want to point out how good But a Dream is in this matchup because normally But a Dream, it's like, oh, they threw a log at me or something. I'm just going to bounce it back to their hand, but then Bigfoot's like, okay, fine, I'll just hit you with the log next turn. It's not a big deal. It just delayed the inevitable. But the thing is with Moon Knight and the way he works is that he hits you hard with Khonshu, but he only gets to be Khonshu once every 3 turns naturally. So But a Dream going into Khonshu and just negating that massive attack is so, so good. Because, yeah, it puts it back into his hand. He could use the card later, but if he wants to attack with Khonshu again using that card, which he probably wants to, he's going to have to wait 3 more turns in order to do that. And depending on, the situation, like maybe he got one good chance to attack Titania and like now you just blanked it and you're fine. You move on with your life. And then maybe you can put Oberon in the way like during the next Khonshu turn or whatever. It's just you only get so many Khonshu turns, Khonshu attacks throughout the entire course of the game that being able to blank not just one but 2 of them because you have 2 copies of this in the deck is really, really good because, there may only be, I don't know, 5 Khonshu attacks in the whole game, and when you can blank 2 of them, well, now you only have 3 more to worry about. So this card is especially good in this matchup. It's just the ultimate defense against Khonshu. It doesn't matter what he's throwing, you're just going to blank it and return it no matter what, and that buys you a great amount of time to just survive, right? If you need to play towards the end game. And so But a Dream is incredible in this matchup. All right, so in this matchup, ultimately, there wasn't a ton of specific key card interactions because it's not. It is very similar to the Moon Knight vs. Alice episode that I referenced before, and I did talk about this in that episode too. It's like it's not as much about the specific card interactions, but it's more so about the whole tempo of the game and when cards are played. Because you're constantly changing your ability. Both characters in this case, Moon Knight changing his forms and Titania cycling through the glamours, that you need to time your cards to line up favorably, right? Like Titania has the combo that I mentioned with momentary glances and the glamour of rhyme, but you can't obviously pull off that combo turn on a Khonshu turn because momentary glance can't deal the auto damage to Khonshu. So maybe that was the key moment to pull the trigger on the combo, but unfortunately it was Conchu, and now you can't do it. And of course, Moon Knight is cognizant of that, and so he's going to play around that combo in a certain way. And similarly, Moon Knight has some auto damage that Titania can negate with sleep. And if the game drags on too long and Conchu doesn't capitalize on his Conchu turns quick enough, well, maybe Titania then can get into the glamour of sleep, fatigue, win condition in the end game. Now, that is very hard to do because Conchu is also a bit of a cheat in fatigue, and so I don't know if that's any kind of reliable strategy, but I'm excited to find out. So yeah, this matchup, I think I would go with Moon Knight favorite if I had to guess, just because Titania doesn't have the best defenses. She does have some really strong ones with Fairy Song and Whisked Away, but those are only 6 cards in the whole deck. But a Dream also is incredible, but um, Conchu can set up double attack turns with Travelers on a move 4 map, and I think if that is the case, it's going to be a massive problem for Titania. I think maybe on a bigger map, she could do better in her survivability and maybe push towards a fatigue win con on something like Yukon or Sherwood or even Sarpedon or whatever, just something bigger than a move 4 center, because I think Travelers is going to be a massive problem in this matchup because you get a double Conju attack and there are no great ways to defend twice in this deck other than But a Dream. But if you But a Dream twice in the same turn, sure, you negated a Conchu turn, but you're going to have a hard time with the second Travelers. So I don't know. It's going to be tough for Titania to survive all the big Conchu hits, especially because of Travelers. So that's my prediction. And being only a 12 starting HP character, I don't know if you can survive Conchu. Um, if you can, then you'll be fine. But that's a big ask. And so I think Titania, because of that, has to play pretty aggressively and go for big combo turns and just kill Moon Knight, which also isn't easy to do because he starts with 16 HP and has upwards of 4 healing. Up to 20 HP is just a ton. And he has a decent amount of card draw if he absolutely needs it. Like if he has to play Insanity on defense or whatever, maybe he will, just to try to draw the extra cards to live, and that could be a game-winning play. But you also have the blues are going to be really good sources of card draw for Moon Knight because Titania doesn't have a ton of high printed values to be attacking with to win combat over the blues from Moon Knight. So those can be extra card draw as well. So I don't know. It just seems tough to blast him down. And as I mentioned, if you're going to go for the combo, you're going to have to do it on a turn that probably is not Mr. Knight or Conchu, because if it's Conchu, you can't use your glances. If it's Mr. Knight, you don't want to be hitting into Mr. Knight because you're losing out on damage there. So you're probably going to want to combo off on Moon Knight specifically, but that's only 1/3 of the time. And when you can pull the trigger, just it might not be on a Moon Knight turn, right? And if you don't pull the trigger, then you might kind of miss your window in a way. So it's going to be interesting. It's all about tempo. I don't think it's a fatigue game. I think it's a tempo game, and card draw is going to be premium, and timing of just the way the abilities are lining up with when you're pulling off your plays is going to be crucial. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect. It's also Chad's Moon Knight, and I don't have a ton of experience with Titania, so I'm not expecting too much, but I am expecting a good time regardless. So I'm excited to find out what happens. Let's not wait anymore. Let's get on over and check out what happens between Titania and Moon Knight. Well, welcome everybody to Matchup of the Month for June. And this is going to be Moon Knight versus Titania. So we got another one of the new fighters from Slings and Arrows joining the mix. And with me, as always, is Mr. Chad. How you doing, Chad?
Good, good as always. Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I am ready to probably get destroyed by yet another new fighter that I have no idea what I'm doing with. So this will be
Classic.
interesting. Yeah, yeah. And it's like two really interesting fighters that kind of change forms along the way, right? Because Moon Knight Classic form change every turn. Titania is kind of similar, where you have your 6 glamours, and that pretty much just changes your ability every, maybe not every turn, but pretty often. And that'll be really cool to see. And they each have a way to cheat fatigue, right? That's the big thing that everybody loves, is no fatigue damage. So Conchu, we all know he's a scumbag who cheats fatigue. And Titania can do the sleepwalking that we may or may not have seen in a big major tournament, you know. Or maybe I'm getting ahead of myself because I know it's only June and maybe
Yeah, I don't know how this finals is gonna play out.
yeah, we might end up seeing that though in attorney finals. It seems pretty dang good.
If I had to guess, it would probably be a European that would be like doing that.
Yeah, we all know how much they love fatigue.
Oh, you're one to talk.
So
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, this will be interesting. Have you played this matchup before?
I have not. I really, unfortunately, just am very busy. And this falls even before the Witcher stuff, which I haven't even messed with Witcher stuff mostly at all. And so this one kind of fell through the cracks because I'm a big Moon Knight fan. Ashley likes Titania, so I kind of expect that. But with just other things, I haven't been able to play it as much.
Well, you probably know Titania at least a little better than me. So do you have any thoughts on the matchup? How do you think it's going to go?
My initial thought is that it's pretty even, but I could be way off on that. I think that we know that Moon Knight's fatigue game is really solid, but obviously Titania's is infinite if she has the right glamour. So there's definitely that. However, I don't. Moon Knight hits so hard, even just with his combats, that I don't think that like if it's getting to that point that Moon Knight's going to struggle because he also has what is it? He has 3 defenses and 4 schemes. So he has 7 cards in his deck that he can't attack with. So like if it is going to that way, I don't foresee Moon Knight ever like running out of options. And then with his like bunny hop and then maneuver, he can move 5 without having to boost. So like I think he's just, and the goal is to just run Titania out of stuff. And even if she was at full health with no schemes left, what's basically 4 attacks and then or 3 attacks and then she dies after she's out of resources. Especially you throw a Conchu thing or something in there. So I don't foresee Titania winning the resource battle there, but I do think that because of how aggressive she is and how Moon Knight does have a decent amount of card draw, but it's not like that consistent or like that guaranteed, right? He in very aggro matchups, often he can play Let Your Insanity Guide You, but that's always just a risk. Like you might hit a 1 and it's just a 1-for-1, and then you also took a good chunk of damage over it.
Yep.
You might drop like a Travelers where you're like, well, I'm just trying to survive, so drawing 3 cards sounds amazing right now. So I think it kind of all depends on some of that stuff if Titania is going aggressive, which I think is probably the play for her, just because I really don't think 1-to-1 her tools outweigh Moon Knight's, like just at face value.
Yeah, I would agree. I think aggro Titania is the way to go here because even on a big map, Moon Knight is very mobile, right? He's got decent boost values and a base move 3, so it's really easy for him to move 5 and sometimes 6 if he really needs to. And like you said, the bunny hop can really help that. You can move 7 very easily with that. So even on Yukon, you'd be able to catch Titania pretty frequently. And her defense package is not the best if you can attack her many times. Like she's got a few really good quality defenses, like the is it Whisked Away is the printed 4?
Whisked Away is the printed 4. Yep. There's the 3 that buffs to a 5. And then during Moon Knight turns, there's the But a Dream, which is amazing into Conchu turns.
Yes. Oh wow, that is really cool because Conchu only comes like every 3rd turn or whatever. So yeah, But a Dream just to negate the Conchu attack is going to be massive. So she's got a few really good quality defenses, but not a ton. And they do require glamours. Like if you were to happen to get a Conchu Traveler's turn and double attack, even if it's non-Conchu, right? If you can just attack twice as Moon Knight, let's say you do a bunny hop, you do the Travelers, so you got to move 6 without any actions spent, and you get to make a double attack. If you do like the 5, for example, it requires you to use your glamour, and then if you had a second copy of the 5, well, it's not a 5 that turn, right? It's going to be a 3 because you got to wait till you get your glamour back at the start of the next turn. And But a Dream only blanks a single attack, and you could just throw that same exact attack as your second action if you get that double attack turn. So if you can get attacked twice, you might not even have great defenses to line up into that. So I don't know. I don't think her defense package is going to hold up in the long run. And Conchu just puts out a lot of damage, and she only has, what, 12 starting health?
12
So,
starting.
yeah.
One of the big things I think is that Oberon doesn't have Budded Dream. So his biggest block is the 4 with no discard needed, or the 3 that becomes a 5, which on double attack turns, you block the first attack. And then as you highlighted that you can only block for a 4, which if you had the 4, you'd probably have played that first. So most likely you're taking a bunch after that, assuming you didn't have it. And because the 4s are her only movement defenses that she has.
Those are going to be crucial for Travelers. You're going to need to get away to avoid the double attacks, I think. But yeah, I think aggro is probably the way to go in general. So that'll be really interesting. Now, do you think Oberon is just going to crumble like on the basically the first or second Conchu turn really early?
I could see that. I think Oberon is critical. One of the reasons I love Titania is just because of how I think she can do really well in a number of matchups, and her margins are like really tight. Like most of the time, she's only winning by a little bit, or it was very close to turning the other way. And part of that is due to how much Oberon is doing in the deck, and how critical he is, or how critical it is to get his 5 cards off.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, right? You always have that glamour where if I have the swap glamour really early, then okay, now you're going in for Conchu on Oberon. I then swap. I play Budded Dream. I do some shenanigans like that, and I protect him really quickly. So there's definitely some tricks that she has, but I don't see it wise for Moon Knight to ignore Oberon. I think he wants to take him out because body blocking later, when if she's done her job and aggressed quite a bit or whatever, basically backing off for Conchu turns, body blocking because maybe all I need to do is find specific cards, I think is going to be huge. So I think killing Oberon quickly before he has all the options is definitely a smart play.
Yeah, I would agree. So do you want to play Titania first, and I'll play Moon Knight first?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. And what do you think about maps? We
I
probably
say
don't. Oh, go ahead.
No item maps is
Okay. You think that's why? Why no items? What do you think? What kind of implications would that have?
Titania has the one that can move somebody one space, so that kind of adds to it quite a bit. It definitely keeps Oberon alive for a lot longer.
Yep.
So that could be interesting, but I also just don't like items.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I can see Titania being really good with items, especially you have 2 bodies versus a solo fighter, and solo fighters don't typically like item maps, so that makes sense. We probably also don't want something super big, otherwise the fatigue game is probably going to be more of a factor, which I don't know if the audience wants to.
Time for that.
Yeah, I don't think the audience wants to sit through that like a game on Yukon.
I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Although Titania's range, so...
Have we played on the globe?
I don't know, but I also think... Isn't that really bad for Titania and
maybe
really good for Moon Knight?
You can just hide, right?
Yeah, you can hide in the single zone pockets, and it's a move 4 center, I think, for Travelers, so that's probably a little bit
you're right. I mean, if I
unbalanced.
had to guess, if Grand Finals was played on that map with Titania would probably lose.
Yeah, probably. It's just such a bad map for her, so... How about one of these, like this one, maybe?
I like Point Pleasant for both. I like Point Pleasant for Moon Knight, and it's pretty good for ranged, significantly good for ranged. It is hard to hide because of all the connections, if that's a concern. But I don't know. I'm looking to go aggressive, so I'm cool if it's hard for you to hide too. So
yeah,
I say we do it.
I mean, this one, or I'm thinking one of the Buffy maps. So
let's do this one.
Okay, cool. That'll work.
This one's one of my favorite maps.
All right. I think I will keep this hand, I guess.
All right, mulligan for me.
Okay.
So you can So I like this. I don't like not having any of those defenses we talked about for Oberon.
Yeah, because this one's trash, right? Against
And
Khonshu,
I
it's just
don't really want this or this like early. So if I can bury that, to me this is like Voyage Home.
Oh,
Like I
yeah.
want to bury that if I can.
I agree. And this card is just mediocre in general. So
Yeah.
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 Easy
For
mulligan.
aggro, it's like great, but it's not doing anything. It's just like it's my regroup.
Right.
All right. Good
All
luck.
right.
Have fun.
You too, man. You got to get your bro down here. Yeah, because he's 1, 2, 3, move 5.
Actually, that's not crazy. Boost with a 3, attack with the 5, and then immediately warp back to safety.
That's pretty good on a Moon Knight turn when I don't even have a card in my discard pile. So, like, it
Yeah.
shuts down a lot of my defenses and whatnot.
What was I doing? I could have boosted with the Queen of the Fairies.
Oh, man. Big
But
mistake.
then I would be at, I guess I'd be at 5, so I could double maneuver away on your Khonshu turn. So maybe.
Glamour of Love. Oh, man.
Mm,
I don't know how I feel about that one.
me neither. I know nothing. Okay. Let's move you here.
Uh-huh.
Let's maneuver. I mean, you knew I was maneuvering because I moved you. Because that's how the rules work.
Yep. I read the card.
Reading the card explains the card.
No, I know you did. But what am I?
Colorblind.
Bubble, you can't say that.
Amazing.
Oh,
right.
man. What are you
Classic
doing?
double maneuver.
Classic
Right,
double maneuver, yeah, and I get to start in this weird zone. All right. You're going to let me hop and I could double attack, buddy. But I'm not going to do that. Are you kidding me? So the scary thing is, like, can you maneuver and pull me no matter where I am? Well, this is actually a Robin space, so I guess that's irrelevant.
Correct.
So I'll hop over here just in case. I
Mhm.
will take a maneuver. And I'm gonna be going into a Khonshu turn. So I don't want to go too far away. Oh, you could double. Well, you're gonna double maneuver and push me back? I don't know. Maybe. You might be a scumbag like that. What if I go 1? That seems fine there. And then I will maneuver again. And I will go 1. This is fine. Go ahead. I wish I knew your deck at all. Like, you have healing schemes or movement schemes or something? Do you want to move me?
Do I pin?
Oh, man.
Pin versus
Pin
Khonshu?
Khonshu? Oh, man.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Seems ill-advised.
Yeah, it does. Corralling Khonshu is good. Pinning? Don't think so. Oh, you're bringing in the boy. I mean, it's obviously going to be a 5, right? Try
I'll
and
have the
warp.
boy attack you.
Try and warp away. You think I'm going to let you warp away, buddy? No
Nope.
way. I'll take 3. And you will die. Hopefully.
Guess I'll die. I'm in danger.
Yeah, right? Okay, my turn?
Yeah.
So I will make an attack as Khonshu. Get out of here.
All right, I'll take 1.
Not great, though.
I almost did something else.
I will attack you again. Oh, buddy, I don't take damage.
I'm not dealing it to me.
You may. Oh, okay. All right, I'll draw 2. Give me those cards, and it's your turn.
So I almost defended with this first, thinking you were baiting with a feint.
Uh-huh.
But if you were playing a boostable for the first action, you could have just
kill him.
it.
Yeah, right.
I felt like that wasn't worth risking.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he lives to fight another day, so.
I'll maneuver again. And it'll be your turn.
Okay, so I'm gonna maneuver maybe 1, 2, 3, and then play this to heal 2
Mm-hmm.
and gain the action,
Mm-hmm.
and then maneuver again and 1, 2. Actually, I'll go over here. Your turn. What's this do? Heal 2, draw 2, move 2.
I'm gonna heal 2 and move 2.
Okay. Heal 2 on Oberon. Oh, I forgot you can heal him. That's really good.
That's pretty neat.
Oh my gosh, dude. Stupid glamour.
Or do I? Yeah, I'll do that. So you can 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, cool with that.
All right, my turn.
Yep.
So I'll hop. Is that the closest path? It is, isn't it? 1, 2.
OB, yeah.
Yeah, I'll maneuver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got a boost with a 2. Let's boost with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I will attack Oberon with this.
It's at the 4.
Dang it.
All right.
That's actually really good for you.
I'll ditch. Yeah.
Yep. All right, your turn. Khonshu's coming out to play.
I'm not gonna lie. Since we've retired and our matchup of the months are a little more loosey goosey, I actually really enjoy it.
Oh yeah, it's a blast, man. When you don't have to care so much about winning,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
Ooh.
Ah.
It'd be nice to have cards that would like combo with that.
Yeah.
I'm struggling, dude. I'm struggling. I understand what Kiep suffered. No.
What are you, like a prophet?
I mean, European, he's like the European.
Yeah.
All right, you can kill him.
I can
I'll
kill.
back you.
You're gonna get one last attack in before he goes, huh? And I'm Khonshu. You want to get me 3 damage? That's fine. I'll take 3 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like I gotta go for it because there's no way he's surviving this next turn.
Right. I mean, he did deal what, 6 damage?
Yeah, like I'm
So
pretty comfortable with that. Obviously,
not bad.
missing the scheme is rough if I'm trying to go aggro.
Right.
But okay, do I greed? Let's see. I don't greed.
Okay. So my turn.
Mm-hmm.
I will 1, 2, 3. I am in single maneuver range. That's nice. So I'll maneuver. We'll go 1, 2, 3. I'll attack.
I don't know if you knew this, dude, but you were sleeping the entire time.
Oh, that was all just a dream, huh?
Yeah.
It was a pretty good dream. I mean, I killed Oberon super fast. I was like, man, this is going really well.
This is insane.
Dang. All right, your turn.
All right. Let's maneuver. You're Mr. Knight, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And let's just hit you with this.
Ah, fine. Okay, and you have what? 1 more of those, so I'm effectively at 8, plus my healing puts me at 10. Seems like not a lot when I only have 1 more feint and you have massive attacks in the end game.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling so great anymore.
I'm in danger.
After I started to do some math, actually.
You still have so much going for you, though, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I just got to keep beating your face in, right? All right, let's maneuver. And
Oh, wait. Sorry. Let me think.
You want greed?
Yeah, I do want greed.
Yep, gotcha. All right, so I maneuvered. I will go here
Because you definitely are attacking me here.
Yes, of course. This card. Heal 2 to each fighter.
I'll do it.
So I take 2, and then I will skip to Conchu.
1, 2, skip to Conchu.
It actually does kind of work out there. Very nice little song. You should teach that to Declan.
I will, yeah. Alright, let's draw 2, heal 2.
Dude. Stop.
Do I heal or do I mean, healing is good, but do I just like move you? Like, do I push us like far away? And then, I mean, I'm burning all my schemes before like the combo turn, but I'm not seeing any like form shifts.
Right? Yeah, you're stuck on the glamour. That's rough.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll heal 2, draw 2.
Yeah. Seems like the way to go. Dude,
Attack.
Titania's got a lot of damage output, actually. A lot of auto damage. Like 8 auto if those things don't get fainted.
Yeah.
Okay, that was first action heal, draw, second action attack, attacking Khonshu. I mean, let's just do a 4.
Yeah, I will not boost.
Okay.
I don't think I just want to do 1. Wait, do I?
Dude, you probably... I don't know.
So the thing is, losing it. Do I
Losing
want
your
the
glamour into a Khonshu turn, though.
That's the thing. That's what
yeah.
I'm debating. So you have one more offensive like card draw that's not the other thing.
Yeah.
So am I cool like doing that? Because I want to cycle ideally. Do I? Or do I just like greed and I'm just gonna greed it up?
I don't know.
Well, I guess I want value somewhat. And the way I'm going to win this game is probably with my 2s that are just buffed. So I think I can't afford to like just pass on this. So I'm going to take it and hit you for 1.
Yep. Okay. My turn?
Yep.
Alright. Let's do an attack. Yep.
Yeah, I knew that was probably
Yeah,
coming.
I gotta hit something good here.
Yeah.
So I draw 3. Oh, man. Not good. Well, it's definitely gonna... We're gonna ditch this. It's okay.
Oh, that is pretty solid.
And this will go on top, and this will go on top. Okay, and then you get your thing. But
Yeah, I'll go.
You can't place in any space, but yeah, that doesn't matter. Okay. Then I have one more action.
Mm-hmm.
I will maneuver. And we'll go... Let's go here, and it's your turn. Sleep. There's the sleep. He's gonna sleepwalk.
You know it. Let's see. I'll maneuver. And then maneuver again. And I'll go there. And it'll be your turn.
You like those cards you drew, buddy?
Nope.
I knew you wouldn't.
What fools these mortals be?
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Oh, yeah.
I am showing how poor I am a pilot of this fighter.
Why? What do you mean?
It is not easy to pilot her.
No. No, it's not.
Like, I'm really like, I just want to go aggro. And my deck says, no!
Right, you just gotta go with the flow, right?
Can't go aggro. And I'm like, well, then tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. I want to attack. My opponent is next to me. I feel like I should attack.
I'll end
My
here.
hand says, nope, no attacking.
Bunch of Oberon schemes and blue cards.
You get it, yeah.
That art, though.
Yeah, pretty nice.
People love that art. By people, I mean mitosis.
Fighting for my life over here.
I'll attack you. I think I should have kept my starting hand. That draw 2 to just cycle seems like really good early game and really bad end game.
I feel like you can't afford to be throwing your printed 4s because you need them. Because I haven't used any travelers. You've already used your 5s, your potential 5s, and you only have 2 glamours, so you're not going to throw like a Queen of the Fairies for a 4 value attack. So I think it's a good time to use this.
Aha.
Dude, what the heck? Really? You're insane. All right.
You do not
You
know
got
what's in my
me.
head.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I've heard you complaining. Maybe I should have deduced that.
I'll go here.
Yup. My turn?
Yep.
Okay, so I hop 1, 2.
I was hoping to pay down to one of those.
You know, if you go here, you can make me boost.
Oh, this would put, yeah. Let's do that. I was wanting to force a traveler, so I don't think I realized that you were that close to me.
Yep. All right. We're going to do this.
Okay.
Deal 2, gain my action. So I still have, what, 2 actions? No.
Yep.
Yes, I do.
Yep.
So I'll maneuver. And you don't have any glamours right now, so it might be a good time to attack. I got a boost. What do I boost with? Maybe I just double maneuver. That seems not bad right now, actually. I'll go there. I'll maneuver again. And you can go.
Ooh,
What is
nice.
that? What
I can
is that?
swap.
Oh, yeah. Great one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Alright, I'll maneuver. 1, 2. And I'll maneuver again. Boost. Think this is where I'd have to be in this spot to avoid travelers.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And
1, 2,
I
3,
think
4.
it's fine because I don't want to run out of my good cards.
All right, my turn.
Yep.
Well, it's fine because I don't have travelers, so I'll maneuver.
No joke.
Ah, feels bad, man. Boost. And that's gonna put me 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Let's attack with this.
I'm gonna swap with Oberon and he'll take it.
Yeah, you wish, buddy.
I don't know if you knew this, but you gotta stop falling asleep, dude.
Again, fine. All right, your turn. At least that's what? Both of those, right? You only have 2 of them?
Yep.
Okay, good. And you have 1 more printed 4. Otherwise, you're gonna hurt, buddy.
I'm gonna
You're
attack
going
you.
to be hurting. We'll do this.
Yep. We'll both draw.
Both draw 1.
Do I want to draw 2?
Thinking about
Just-
ditching your glamour just to get another one in the discard pile and draw another?
Let's do it.
Yeah, seems good.
And then I will attack you.
So you could have a 6 value, 2. So let's throw a 5.
We'll take Glamour of Sleep because that's what I'm working with right now.
Yeah.
Alright. That'll be your turn.
Okay. And you don't have a glamour right now.
I do not.
Oh, it's pretty sweet for me. Let's do an attack.
No effect.
Yep, so I will swap. That'll put me at Moon Knight. And then, let's see, I could either back off or just attack you again. I'll back off, because why not? Go 1, 2.
I'm not sure what I did wrong, but I don't see how I'm winning this game.
Your turn. Yeah, it seems rough. Maybe it's just a rough matchup. I mean, we'll see how it goes when I'm Titania.
Ooh. You're gonna regret that, buddy.
Oh, yeah, you can move through me. Oh, man.
Heck yeah.
Feels bad. I'm fighting Invisible Man all of a sudden.
It's all right. I'll maneuver. If you travelers, you travelers. I'll maneuver again.
Yep.
Ditch this.
Yep. Donkey's not going to save you.
But that's why we gotta stick together.
Yep.
Okay, my turn.
Yep.
What even defenses do you have left? Like one?
I have a 4, a feint,
A feint,
and
a donkey,
3, and a donkey.
yeah. Okay. And you only have 2 cards in deck, so chances are you have some of these cards at least. Yeah, let's travelers.
Yeah.
Go over here. And what do we want to throw? Let's attack you with this.
Let's drop it. So if you have the other travelers, you only have a few cards left. So I think I take center. Yeah, I think I take center.
Okay.
Okay.
I will swap. I have one more action. Maneuver. I think I'm good where I'm at. Go ahead. And I go to Moon Knight. What's this? After you play a scheme, gain an action. You still have a... Oh, you still have healing. Dang. And a glance.
Let's play this. And I'll heal too. I will attack you.
Last action, right? That thing doesn't... Oh, wait. That did
Nope.
gain an action.
First action,
So you
yeah.
have 2 actions. Tough call. I'm just going to do this, just to be safe. Okay, so I take 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I will not draw the cards. Alright, my turn.
I will glance you.
Oh, you have another action. Oh my gosh.
I'll attack you.
Oh, that's not great.
I miscalculated.
And you could be throwing, what is that? Another 6. And then you have, so you only have 5 cards left, and it's an Oberon
It's a
card.
3, a 2, a defense, and an Oberon card.
A 3 and a 2. It could be a 6. It's not going to be a 6. Okay, it's a 6. 1, 2, 3. Well, all right, my turn.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna go hop 1 base. I'm going to, what is that? Rhyme. I'm gonna maneuver. 1, 2. I'm gonna maneuver again. Go 1, 2. And this is move 5 here, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, your turn.
It doesn't matter though. And I'll attack you.
You don't have anything higher than a 3, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Alright.
So top card gets discarded.
Yeah.
What is it? Big money, big money. Ah, that's a whammy.
Whammy and a half.
Whammy. Okay, and my turn.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a feint and a donkey. Is that right?
Yep. Wait. Let me put Claimer of Greed on the bottom of my deck.
Oh, yeah. My bad. A feint and a donkey.
Feint and a donkey.
All right, buddy. Let's attack you.
I'll take it.
Oh, man. Look at that take. What are we going to hit? What are we going to hit? Big money, no whammies, drum roll. Oh. Dang it. I wanted to hit my 3. Okay. Then I will feint and a donkey, feint and a donkey, feint and a donkey. Attack you again.
I'll
Dang,
feint.
dude. Dang, dude. You live. Go ahead. What is the glamour? You're hiding it from me.
All right, then. Keep your secrets.
Oh, Glamour Sleep.
Oh, you can sleepwalk now.
I can.
What if I killed myself in fatigue on accident? Like if I did hit the travelers and I accidentally like somehow just died in
If
fatigue.
you had hit the travelers, I think I just won right there. If you did attack me a second time,
If I didn't attack you a second time?
if you didn't attack me a second time, I don't because I have no way to cycle into sleep then.
Oh, jeez. That's so funny. All right, what are you doing?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. If you can't reach me next turn,
How would I
no,
not reach you?
you have travelers, so you're
Yeah, yeah.
guaranteed you can double
What
maneuver
if
every
travelers is the
traveler you
bottom
kill.
card? Oh man, it's the donkey, not the donkey. Give me the fist of Khonshu. Are you gonna draw? You gonna cycle your glamour and draw two?
You go first.
Oh, fine. 1, 2, 3.
The answer is yes. Discard glamour, draw two, GG.
GG. Oh man, that was
So
it was
here's the thing.
close.
The 2/8 was like the way to kill you at the end,
Uh huh.
but I didn't have enough ways to cycle into it without you just attacking me. So
Yeah.
like it was forced on you, like it was forcing on you engaging with me, which at any point when you just chose to stop doing that, I think it was just over. So it was like think I got to try and punch it in there, and if you only had 2 3s, I won for defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I felt like was an okay play. You still had 2 past and presents. No, 1 past and present, I think.
Yeah. 1.
1 past and present and 1 4. You had 1 feint as well. So my thought was if you don't have those 3 cards because you still had 8 cards in deck, I can just win right there. The other option instead of healing was to draw into the stupid draw 2 dude. But then
The
if
donkey?
I attack with that to try and cycle to then be smacking with the 7, I would take 4 first and then not have a glamour on your turn. So you could just double attack me. And as long as I didn't like fully defend everything, I was just dead. So it felt just like I wasn't able to cycle when I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I couldn't like make my things like obviously I think hitting with the 8s was like the win con, but I didn't have enough opportunities to like do that.
Yeah.
These being really buried, this is like to me like the easiest way to cycle.
Yep.
And those being really buried was like a big problem. I mean, I don't think it was health. I don't think it was my health at all, really. I don't think my health really mattered at all. So I was like, well, in that big Conchu turn, I think I was okay, even though I did this. Well, the problem with the big Conchu turn is that I was forced to play this as a defense. So maybe that was it. And this played as a defense made those 2 attacks not 7s. And if they were both 7s, I would have won.
Oh yeah. Right. Putting it on the bottom was actually detrimental.
But I didn't. If I had had like the donkey, I totally would have played it because I didn't care about like that 1 health or even cycling. Like I didn't care about any of that. But I didn't. I had but a dream, so I could have played that instead. But there was still so much of the game left at that point that it didn't feel like it was worth wasting it there rather than like on a traveler's turn.
Uh-huh. It's crazy. This card should be optional. I'm surprised it's not.
Especially because of these, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, oh,
Yeah.
well, you can either cycle it back to the bottom so you can reuse a glamour, or set up like your end game with the sleep or whatever, which is really cool utility, or you could just choose not to cycle one back just so that you have bigger Queen of the Fairies faster. That would
Yep.
be really an interesting decision, and I never realized until right now that this wasn't optional. And I never even thought about that being an issue. Like, why wouldn't you want to put a glamour back, right? That's like my instinct, but it just showcased it right there that if you didn't have to do that, you may have won this game, right? You would have, I think. Well, maybe not would have for sure because I did have the feint, but it would have made me like uncomfortable, and I might have had to throw the feint, which would have maybe let you mind game a little more, like throw your last 3 over my feint for 1 damage, and then now I can't cancel your 8 or your 7 or whatever, right? Like, it would have definitely put you in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I think,
yeah.
it was interesting. I was happy with how close it ended up. A big part of it, as you mentioned, I think, was Oberon getting 6 damage is like really solid.
Yeah. That's a ton of damage. And
And he ate a couple of attacks early. Like you forced a lot. You threw a lot to kill him, which was on the right call, I think. Because one of the big ways she can do damage, I think, is like that combo turn with the Oberon scheme to just bounce stuff back and then do stuff. So like, I think that's like a big part of it. So removing that option, I think, is massive.
yeah, it's crazy because those cards, the Oberon schemes, they don't help you in fatigue at all. But when that's not your win condition and you literally don't care about that one bit, I mean, it basically might as well be, you know, eliminate the impossible. Just look at their hand, say bye to a card, and to be able to
Yeah, but
combo
it
chain
helps
them
them in
is,
fatigue too. So even if that's not your game plan to kill them like that, then it's pretty rough.
yeah. Well, that was cool. Let's flip it around and try it again and see if I can not fail miserably at this character.
That's right. We'll see. I'm sure you'll do great. I'm sure you'll do great.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
I will do this. Oh man, we've swapped. Titania confirmed mulliganer. Moon Knight, he's not afraid at all.
I do think just even with the donkey, maybe I should have kept that last hand. But the thing was, I wasn't going to attack you turn 1, and then I don't think I just want to attack into Conchu with a 2 that you can just do 2 auto to me for free, and I didn't get anything off of that really. And then again, if I didn't get any like good Oberon defense in those 4 cards or so, then I think it's wrong.
Okay, this is not hop single maneuver range, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
No.
the earlier one was.
Yeah, up here it is. I saw. All right, let's see.
And I'll stay there. Will be your turn.
All right, big money. Give me a good glamour.
Oh, holy cow.
Rhyme? I wish I had love like you did. It would help me out a lot right now.
Yeah,
but hey, Rhyme's
that's true.
pretty nice.
Rhyme is the great one though, depending on your hand, of course.
Right. All right, so I'll start with a maneuver. Oh man, you can just single maneuver and get to me anywhere, can't you? Dude, what the heck? That's like ridiculous position.
The one move 4 spot is here.
That's insane. What a crazy map for Moon Knight. Holy cow, you set me up, dude.
Oh, yeah. It's all coming together.
Oh, man, I'm so screwed. Holy cow. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2. Maneuver again. What if I just go like this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you could double attack Titania. Do I care? Yeah, I care. I care. Go ahead.
I was like, I think you do.
Yeah. I wanted to be like a tough guy, you know? Like, come on, you're not going to double attack me. You're going to boost Oberon. But then if you did and...
I'll hit Oberon.
Bad. Well, I guess I have to do this. And I will cycle it.
Yeah. I wanted to get you off of Rhyme.
Yeah. Succeeded.
I will swap.
Very sad. Okay, my turn?
Yep.
All right, what do we get this time? Oh, invisibility. You're done for. Trash.
Glamour.
Trash glamour,
Not
dude.
even, like
So
90% of the time. And then versus a poor positioning Wukong, it's like, pa-pa!
Yeah. Dude, your pressure on Oberon is just dumb. Let's attack with Titania.
Titania.
Yep, go ahead, buddy.
Ooh, before you draw.
Yep, you're gonna control my draw. That's horrible. Well, I guess I could just take both of them, so it doesn't really matter. But I think you hit Queen of the Fairies and you just win the game, right?
Probably.
That's probably how it goes. Oh, man. I don't know how I feel about this matchup. I think this is bad.
Let's ditch this one.
Hey, I'm okay with that. Could be worse. I'm gonna just draw both of my cards, so
Okay.
yeah. What'd you give me?
You can.
Not great.
We can talk about my decision if you want. But I didn't
Uh,
care about the 2 auto damage as much as I cared about you cycling, I feel. And the feint is pretty good.
yeah, that's fair. Now I'm not gonna have a glamour. That's not great. Well, dang. And if I maneuver, I'm overdrawing. So maybe I shouldn't have drawn 2. That was stupid. That was so stupid.
I'm sure you'll do great.
So bad.
So
So
dumb.
dumb. I am so dumb. I'll maneuver.
Nice.
Ah, so dumb.
So
So
dumb.
dumb. We'll do this. I guess I can boost.
It's true.
Boost with what? Probably this trash card that you know I have. 1, 2. 1, 2. And you can go.
So do I go here to Oberon? Well, I don't gain any value, right? Because, well, I maneuver and then go there, then you can double maneuver. Well, you double maneuver boost, maybe, to then hide.
I'm
Maybe
gonna
you're...
move this here. Is that cool?
Yep. Does that change what I do? So if I go here, you can run to this corner, which is really far away from my Conchu turn. I think I'll bunny hop here, and I'll attack you.
First action.
Yeah, with... I'll attack you with this.
First action as Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do this.
Yep.
I will deal the damage.
Put you there. And then second action, I will maneuver. I'll go there, and it'll be your turn.
So rude. That was such a good play. Greed. Okay. Maneuver. You're Conchu now, right?
Yes.
I can just do this. And this. And I can have Titania attack you with this. Oh my god, that was the wrong card. I'm such an idiot. Oh, I'm so dumb.
Because of greed.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm so bad.
I'm sure you'll do great.
So bad.
Everybody watching this is like, holy cow, what is
Dude,
this guy?
yeah, complete buffoon. Okay, go ahead.
Did you want greed or no?
No. No, I don't. Jeez.
My own maneuver.
Hey, my tough guy strat worked this time.
I think I just want to still kill him.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I'll do the thing. You're, what, a 7? I take 2?
Yeah.
1, 2. Alright, my turn?
Yeah.
I get a glamour. Jealousy. Hey, nice. That might be useful. And you're Mr. Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Titania attack.
Titania.
So scummy. We'll put the rhyme on the bottom.
Yep.
Go ahead, get your effect.
Drop this one.
Oh, that hurts. And then I'll maneuver. Hey, look at that. What a card. 1, 2. Good here. Your turn.
Let's maneuver. There. Maneuver. We go here. You could play the thing. Wouldn't give you an action, but you could attack once. Moving 2 fighters. Yeah. Oh, there. Alright, you're up.
Okay. Maneuver. Let's boost. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And let's attack with this. Dude, come on. I want to cycle. It's
You
so
got 2
rude.
damage off, but I know I'm
Yeah.
trying to keep you from cycling.
Yeah, go ahead. It's so sad to not be able to cycle, man. I didn't realize like how little cycle there is in this deck. It's very situational, like all of it.
Go here. Let's play this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's maneuver. And maneuver. And it'll be your turn.
Okay. I'll maneuver. What can I do? Anything? Pretty much no. 1, 2, 1. And then I'll do this to heal 2, draw 2. So, do I get to pick? I gotta do the heal first.
Sure. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure. So I'll heal Oberon 2.
Okay.
And then I'll draw 2. And it's your turn.
Let's go here and let's attack Oberon.
Alright, I can swap,
Mm-hmm.
which I will. And so you're actually attacking Titania. And I will play... This is your first action?
Yep.
Definitely going to play this. So that's an 8. Or no, it's a 7.
7,
So I
yeah.
take 3. 1, 2, 3. I will ditch the glamour. I can go anywhere. I'll go there. Wait. Just thinking about a second Travelers. What if I go here? Here is good.
Alright. And then I'll maneuver. Go there.
Alright, my turn.
Yep.
Bit of glamour. Love.
Oh, that's pretty good. Pretty good top deck.
Is it?
Well, just of like you can maneuver and hit me and not be next to me.
Oh, that's true. So I will maneuver, and I can move you here. So then I draw. Let's go like that and attack.
With who?
Oberon. Yep. And then I'll just jump back here, and it's your turn.
I'll maneuver. Go there, and I'll maneuver again. It'll be your turn.
Okay, I'll move you here. And maneuver. Go 1, 2. 1, 2. No, you're gonna get the Moon Knight hop.
It's true.
Okay, I'll attack with this. Titania.
That's a lot of damage. How about a little more?
I will
You
do
first, buddy. Do I want to do it? What would Zach say?
Do it.
What would Mike say, huh?
Do it.
What do the people want to see? The people want to see me do it, so I'll do it. Your turn, buddy.
I'll go here. Play this.
a lot of health you got there.
I'll attack you.
First action?
You do the math.
Yeah, okay, fine. Wow, what a scumbag.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Oh my gosh, GG.
GG.
That was horrible.
Okay, I was gonna double attack you anyway, so
Yeah, I
even
was
if you
dead.
didn't do
I
the
was
two,
dead.
you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, my hand was so bad. Like, I hated that I got Rhyme first because I had 0 schemes in hand in my opening.
That sucks.
So I didn't find these until you saw it. Like, I didn't have any schemes at all. There's still a million of them left in my deck. And my whole, like, in the mid game here, I just wanted to cycle back to Rhyme, do this, and then hit you with, like, a 7 into an 8. Like,
Yeah, that would be so good.
Yeah, and, like, rip your feints, right? You already used a feint, so it's just, like, rip both your feints and then just hit you with a 7 and an 8. That was the whole goal. Obviously, that's a hefty goal. And if I would have been able to do it with the glances...
Right, the biggest thing was you were running out of cycles, right? You had only 3 cycles left.
Yeah, I needed 2 more.
You needed to use...
1 more. Because I had 1 right here, but I
just
died.
used 1, so you only had 2 left then that you had to use. So you had to use 1 more.
1 more. Which is not that far off. Like, I felt like it was doable.
But it's also like a world off depending on, like, if I feint those. Like, if I feint your cycles.
Yeah.
That's, like, crazy because my plan was once you get close, I was just going to try and feint your cycles.
Yeah.
Because you only have these for defense. So my plan was just to attack Titania and throw feint. So if you throw this, I just keep my feint and, like, I'm good. If you throw either of these, then I, like, stop it because I knew Rhyme was probably coming into the thing. And then I was worried about, I was, like, doing the math about sleepwalking, and you only had 5 defenses total left. So I was totally, like, fine with sleepwalking given how much health you had. Because even though you still had 4 healing, you were at 6 health. Only 5 blocks left.
Yeah, sleepwalking was never going to work there.
It wasn't.
I mean, you didn't have your feints. Let's see where they were. Okay. It looks like I definitely could have done this if I would have survived.
Yeah, I think so.
Holy cow. It was so bad, though, because my hand was literally these 4, an Oberon attack, my only defense. Well, okay, not my only defense, but the card I attacked with was the auto damage card, wherever that is.
Yeah, parting gift.
Yeah, where the heck is that card? This one. This was my hand, and it was like, okay, either I maneuver again and overdraw, and who knows what I'm overdrawing, right? It could be a crucial card that I needed. Otherwise, I throw one of these for a 5 because I had this glamour up. So I could throw these for a 5, which is, like, not great.
I guess the other option is boosting with the scheme and attacking with the 5.
Yeah, I thought about that, but then I thought, well, then I'm throwing away my 7 into 8 game plan. And I thought that was the only way I was winning. Like, I was so far behind. I needed, like, a ridiculous Hail Mary combo like this to win that game.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like I could get rid of any of this. I couldn't boost with this and attack you with this because then, I mean, I could have, I guess. But then I only have 1 defense for Oberon, and it does nothing, and I don't have any more cycle, right?
Yeah.
I could boost with this and attack with this and then leave myself with 1 defense. Maybe I should have done that. I should have done that looking back, but I don't know. I didn't expect you to just hop next to me and double attack me when I had a million cards in hand and you had, like, less than I did.
Yeah, I was doing the math. I was expecting a party or but a dream there. So I was trying to just weasel one of those out, and then I would maneuver after that.
I guess I shouldn't have done the damage. Maybe you wouldn't have went for that if I didn't deal the damage.
I still would have bunny hopped and attacked with the 4, 100%.
Yeah, well, you were Moon Knight, right? So you're going into Khonshu.
To get the budded dreams out, and then I could maneuver and run away after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and if you didn't bud a dream and you threw, like, parting gift or the 5 or the 2 that draws 2, I would turn into Khonshu and then for sure attack you.
For sure, I should have boosted with this and attacked with this.
So yeah, I think so.
Because then
But
I could have
even
backed
then,
off.
I think I was still pretty well postured.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, you
Yeah.
probably could have kept the dream alive for a while. So who knows?
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, my
Oh
faints
well.
being buried was definitely. But I was planning to do this if things got dire. So
Of course. Yeah. You had that in hand,
who knows?
locked and loaded for the card draw.
That's it.
And,
So
and then
yeah,
you
I
hit a
don't know,
feint. And
man.
then you hit a feint and you draw 1 and lose your feint.
Right? Yeah,
That'd be
if it's the
so
one,
bad.
it is. I wish Insanity wasn't so bad.
Right. Like reveal the top card and then just draw. Don't discard it.
Or like, I wish the boost values were like maybe a little like more calculated specifically with like let your Insanity guide you. Like if you lose a good card, you get like good amount of card draw for it or something like that.
Sure.
Like it feels like losing the four, the
It's a 1
purple,
boost. Yeah.
brutal.
So bad.
Losing the feint,
Yeah.
brutal.
Yep.
Losing even the 2, like the auto damage one, also brutal. Actually, just hitting a 1 boost with that card sucks.
Yeah.
If you had anything else, you're kind of okay with it.
Yeah. A lot of the 2s are good. And
You're like, okay, I'll lose this for 2 card draw because my goal is the card draw. Like that's why I'm playing this.
exactly. You wouldn't be playing it if it wasn't your goal to draw cards. And then if you hit like Travelers, that's the big money. Like,
Yeah, you're like, I
holy
was
cow.
not planning to play that anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Maybe we butchered it, but I think this is pretty good for Moon Knight if I had to guess.
Yeah, it seemed rough. Titania definitely can win if you can get the right like you when you played Titania, you just got big combat interactions. When I played it, I got like 0 good combat interactions, but I was
But you were
playing towards a
keeping
combo.
Oberon alive, which was keeping the dream alive.
Yeah, right. So I was playing for like combo, and you played just for straight like damage over the top. Part of that I think was your timing was just better than mine. Like I just kept having to attack you into Mr. Knight turns, which was just brutal. Like my whole you had the whole Moon Knight flow going really well, and all my yeah, obviously you're Moon Knight, man. But I don't know. Like usually I'm good at playing around it when playing into Moon Knight, but with this fighter, maybe it was the cards, the way I was drawing my cards. It just felt like I didn't really have good opportunities to attack when I wanted to.
When I've been talking to like the experts of Titania, they say when you try and like force Titania to play a certain way, that's when you'll like struggle. But when you just like go with the flow and play as the cards let you know, that's when you like really see your shine. Which I totally understand, and that's what I felt before. In this matchup, it feels like you need a very specific macro.
Yeah.
And so then you're trying to force her into a box. And then that's when the experts say that that's like rough. So personally, like these findings didn't necessarily surprise me. You wanting to play super aggressive, or you wanting to like play rhyme when you have a bunch of stuff and keep Oberon alive. Like whatever your macro is, if your cards don't line up with that, it doesn't like for example, you had a really good like start to keep Oberon alive. Like you got jealousy like third, like you had a really good setup there. You had enough cycles to get to it like in time. So it was like, well, it was like great to get there. However, like you had your 5s early. 5s are great for defense for Oberon to then cycle into those things. Like that's great. But Rhyme was your first glamour. If Rhyme had been maybe your 4th glamour, now you're cooking.
Dude, yeah. It'd be a world of difference.
So it's stuff like that where it's like, it's just, I'm not a Titania doubter by any means, but I think if you go up against someone like Moon Knight, where like, here is how you win, like this is your line of play for Titania, then it can be just really hard to deliver on that.
Yeah, because against Moon Knight, the pattern is like you attack him when he's Moon Knight, you back off when he's Khonshu, and then you use your scheme auto damage when he's Mr. Knight, and you rinse and repeat. Like that's a very, watered down version of how to play against Moon Knight. And Titania just can't do that if things aren't lining up in your favor in terms of the glamour. Not only your card draw from your deck, which is every fighter to an extent, but also the glamour deck. So yeah, that I agree with you. It makes it really difficult to have a macro strat against Moon Knight here.
I like her though. Like when that one time where I was like, I just got to go for it, and you ended up having the feint, so it ended up not mattering because you wouldn't die. But like if you didn't have the feint, like there was a very real scenario that I told you I mathed out that like I could totally win right here. Like that's very cool to me. So like I had fun playing her, but it from that side of like explosive turns. But I didn't really like the tempo feel. It felt like I was fighting against her to do what I wanted to do. And if I just kind of leaned into what her cards were telling me to do, I didn't see a path for victory.
Right.
I don't know. It's I think it makes me appreciate Kiet's game even more that will happen in the future. Because I don't think it's trivial to do stuff like that. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. But again, I think part of it is playing against Moon Knight, so that
Yeah,
just makes
I
it
think that's
extra
a big,
difficult.
big thing. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Also,
Moon Knight's just a monster.
he is. One more thing too before we stop our discussion. We've been mentioning macros, and I don't know if we've ever really talked about that on here, but want to explain that a little bit just to anybody watching.
Sure. Yeah. So there's macro evolution and micro evolution. No. Uh, what I mean by macro is like, what is your game plan for the matchup, like before you even start? Like, are you playing a value game? Are you trying to drag it to fatigue? If so, how are you getting there? Like, for example, Dracula, right? Dracula's macro, oftentimes when he goes into it, is I want them to fate the first beast form, and then I want to do ping damage until they get to 4 health, and then I want to throw beast form and checkmate them in whatever scenario. That's the goal for Dracula. And so like you're walking into the game with that game plan, and depending on the opponent, right, depending on the matchup, you have different macros, right? Like Dracula can't do that versus anyone that has like a 3 value feint, or anybody with things that aren't, like a golden chainmail or a bewilderment or stuff like that. Like that doesn't work the same way. So it's not that you just have a default for how you're playing a fighter, but it's more of, in this matchup, how am I playing the fighter? Am I the aggressor? Am I the one that's often being aggressed? And if so, how am I managing that? And what does that look like? So excellent matchup is Houdini versus Genie. If you have the wrong macro of how you feel you have to play that matchup, you will probably lose and it won't be close. But if both of you go in having like a proper macro of the game, it will be a very close matchup.
Yeah, I agree. So basically, yeah, macro strategy, right? What's your overall game plan going in? And that really is crucial for like top level players. They know their matchups, they have a macro strategy going in, and they stick to that. As opposed to like a micro strategy, it's like those are more so like, okay, what kind of things am I going for in this particular game state based on what has already happened up to this point in the game, and based on what my hand is and like their hand and what have they used so far. That's all like micro stuff, like little turn-to-turn decisions, which are also incredibly impactful in a game. But yeah, you got to have the right macro strategy, because another big example, I'm going to call back to my match against Jacquin in I think it was last Summer of Legends, and it was my Achilles versus his Black Widow.
Yeah.
And he was off on his macro strategy. He thought, I played into it, kind of mind gaming it, like, oh no, like I want Pat to die, like why are you not killing him? And really secretly I did not want him to kill Pat, because I knew that as soon as Pat goes down, I lost that game. It was on King Solomon's mind. Right? Yeah, so as soon as Pat went down, I lost hardcore, and I knew that. But I was playing into it, being like, oh, I want Pat to die, and so he thought that that was true, and his macro was off. So he kept Pat alive for like the whole game, I think, and I ended up winning because of that. So yeah, if your macro is off, it can lose you a matchup that you otherwise could be winning. So very, very important. And so calling back to this game that we just played, or this matchup, you can try to have a macro with Titania, but she's one of the more difficult characters to do that with, because you don't know the ordering of the glamour deck. So it's always going to be different in a sense. You can try to use your put the certain glamour back on the bottom kind of thing, and then always play towards that in the end game, but it's just that card could get fainted, and then that's all crumbles. So it's really difficult, which definitely made it a hard matchup going up against Moon Knight.
For sure.
Yeah, but good games, man. That was fun. And I think we've done the Wayward Sisters, we did Titania, and I think we got Hamlet coming up pretty soon. And I know we have Shakespeare a few episodes down the road as well. So we will end up getting all
Big
of
Shakespeare guy. Big Shakespeare believer.
Yeah, so that'll be really cool to see you play Shakespeare. But yeah,
We'll watch me butcher it.
No way. You're going to just crush me, I'm sure. I'm going to butcher it like I always do with these new fighters. All right, man. Well, good games. Thanks for playing again, as always. And I'm looking forward to the next one.
Sounds good. See y'all.
All right, see you guys.
All right, guys, there you have it. That's going to do it for Matchup of the Month, June. And this was a fun one. And I guess I was right. Moon Knight did end up taking both of the games here. But I think it is definitely a playable matchup. But some things need to go pretty well for Titania. But that's kind of Titania as a character. The ordering of the glamours is always random. And so you can't ever fully commit to a certain strategy ahead of time. You just kind of have to play with what you're dealt. And that is true to an extent for all unmatched characters, but Titania kind of doubles down on that because she has two different decks with, highly variable orders of both of those that can really make a big impact. So, she's a fun character. I know there's a lot of people out there who love her, and we saw Kiet do great things with her in the finals of the last tournament, and I'm excited to see the future of the character because I think the ceiling is pretty high, as I mentioned, with all the Slings and Arrows characters. So it was pretty cool. It was fun to play, as always, so thanks to Chad. And thank you all for watching. And be sure to leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you are not already. And you can consider supporting me on Patreon. That helps me support my editor, Darkblade, with bringing you guys more episodes of Matchup of the Month and other things coming up in the future. So I appreciate all the support from everybody out there. We also did pass 4,000 subscribers, so thank you all so much for that. That's a big milestone. I never thought that I would have been getting this many subscribers when I first started the channel. It was just a fun little side hobby thing to try it out, and look where we are now. So that's pretty incredible. So thank you all so much for all your support, and I hope you enjoyed as always. And that's going to do it for this one, everybody. So thanks again for watching. I'm ZeroSkater12, and I'll see you next time.